When our schedule first came out, our Mountain West Conference schedule first came out, the week we just finished was the one that we were most concerned about for the obvious reasons initially of the at Laramie, at Nevada, and also the time of year, to having that kind of trip when everybody has a lot of tread on their tires. So I couldn't be more proud or pleased with the way we performed this week. You know, that's 80 minutes of basketball at a combined 13,000 feet altitude. Our offense paid the price a bit. It wasn't pretty, but we really dug in and we guarded really well. Got a huge win on Wednesday in Laramie to get a sweep of them, which was big. And then we're able to follow it up with a pretty gritty win against Nevada on Saturday. But no rest for the weary. We had a night game, so we didn't get back till yesterday. I think New Mexico, who we play on Wednesday, is probably the fourth team in our league that I believe could win the tournament and could play beyond. They've had 2 one-point losses at home. They probably should be walking in here 8-4. And we played as complete a game as we've played all season in the pit. We were great in the pit. I mean, we held them to 39, and our offense was very aggressive. We played at a high, high level. So it's going to take a lot. We're going to ask everybody out there who has TiVos to please set them. I know it's really difficult for us midweek when we go against the guys, and the guys are at the pit, but it's a big game for us on Wednesday, so if we can get a few people here, it would really, really help. Questions?
Beth, the amount of success that you guys have had, yet still currently not ranked. I know rankings had to come out this week. Is that frustrating for you?
No. No, well, I don't know for our players. You know, I really don't know. But you have to remember, John, that we in the beginning of the year, you know, we have 4 non-conference losses, albeit they're all in the top 25, but they're all ahead of us, as they should be. Yeah. You know, Colorado beat us. You know, UCLA beat us. And so when you look at, you know, they're not 5-12, they're 12-22. So I think that's the reason why. I think if we hadn't played them, then sometimes you get the, hey, San Diego State is 21-22 and such. But we played them. They beat us, as I said, albeit on their home floor. Oklahoma State is our only loss on our home floor, but, you know, they just beat Oklahoma by 30, and they're about 15th in the country. So I think it's more our RPI is solid at 37 because of what we did. And that's really more important in terms of these last 3 games. 2 of them are low RPI teams, and we know we have to, you know, first goal is to win a banner, but we have to win these games in order to put us in our best position to potentially get an at-large bid should we need one. So I think our sole focus is more on winning the next one, and not worried about that outside kind of stuff.
Okay. And I know coaches don't like to compare teams, but this year, teams had a lot of success. How do you compare it to teams you've had in the past, or what makes this team different from teams that you've had in the past?
This is a really unique team, and it took a while to figure out what was going to make us go. They're a little stubborn. I've heard their coach is a little stubborn, too. I'm not sure if that can be substantiated. But because of we lost really good role players from a year ago that did all the dirty work. And when we started the season, we had no one. There was no line. There was no one in the dirty work line. And, you know, so when we shot 55% and 60%, life was grand. But when we didn't, we're a pretty bad team, pretty average team. So this team has been really unique of any that I've had in terms of then they figured it out, then they listened, and we've really started to guard people at a high level. So this team is like none other that I've had. We don't have a huge margin for error. We don't have a plan B or C, but we've gotten to where we can guard really, really hard, and that makes up for the inconsistencies we have with our third scorer, our fourth scorer. Courtney Clemens and Chelsea Hopkins come every night, and they do the things that they need to do every night. It's that, you know, when we get Emma Mariquois playing, when Malia Nahinu's playing, when we get a third scorer and a fourth scorer and defender, it makes us really good. This past weekend, Desi Culberson and Ameriqua, Desi off the bench, Emma as a starter in the second half were the difference. They just turned it up. So we have people that can do that, but we've yet to get, even at this date, consistency to where you can know from night in to night out where exactly that third punch is going to come from. So it's different.
So the dirty work players are kind of coming out of the woodwork.
Well, no, Chelsea and Courtney figured out that they better get dirty. You know, I mean, early on, they're very skilled offensively, and they had never had to do a lot of the heavy lifting defensively. They did their share, as any pressure team does, but they had young players around them. They had inexperienced players around them. So they had to, it's been their change. Those two athletes changed defensively that lifted everybody else up. The other ones weren't bad, and they were just inexperienced. You know, you don't know. So they figured out that they've got to be a go-to defender, and they have been. And that's been a big difference for us.
At this stage of the season, are you pleased with where your team's at, outside of record-wise?
Yeah, without question. I mean, like I said, we were stubborn. We didn't buy into a lot of things. We had a lot of independence. Never bad, not attitudinal. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But they couldn't find, you know, basketball's like a symphony. You've got to find a way to make all the notes play together. And it took a little longer for all kinds of reasons. But I think at this point, you know, our spirit is good. You know, yesterday we're in the airport, we're delayed. You know, that's a shocker, right? So we have this group's playing cards, this group's doing, you know, our spirit is good, our energy is as good as it can be, and we're confident. So, you know, you add all those things up, and that's the way you want to be with, we've got to get through the most important game, which is the next game. Then we can get a little break. We have a bye over the weekend, where with this group, every team's different. This group will get mostly rest. That's how this group functions best. And then be ready to hit the last two before we head to Vegas.